not. I haven't seen anything on Fox News because I don't often watch Fox News National. Now, Fox in Chicago is just a regular news channel,
Right.
just like Channel 9 and Channel 7.
Yeah.
They don't have that skewed view of the news. Now,
Yeah.
when you go Fox National, that's when they start to present that. Having been somebody that's been in city council before, I am familiar. Over the years, there's going to be somebody that is sharing their views, oftentimes loudly, very visceral protest around a myriad of issues here in Chicago. And currently, the adoption of shelter for
The
migrants.
Venezuelans. Weren't they primarily Venezuelans?
I have no idea.
I think Nicaraguans, Venezuela primarily.
I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah. It was a lot of those folk.
But
Yeah.
it's been a huge issue, mainly because that neighborhoods on the south and west sides have been neglected for many an administration. So
Right.
it doesn't just land in this mayor's lap. For many an administration, the south and west sides have been neglected. And
Right.
so the constituency has a valid point around people that have come into their areas who don't even have the ability to vote, but yet they are getting access to taxpayer dollars.
But then,
Now,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
the administration stands on the point of being, kindler, gentler, want for your brother what you want for yourself, to be able to look after people that have been abandoned. And so that's the conversation that's happening right now in Chicago, just so I can lay it out for you so you know. But to be able to present it as a possibility of flipping Chicago red is just outlandish. Chicago's a Democratic city. We're a Democratic enclave within sometimes, sometimes people think that Illinois is going to go red. I don't know. Did we go for Trump? Did
No,
Illinois
hey,
go for Trump?
Illinois.
It didn't, did it?
They voted for.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
voted for Kamala, who should have won.
it's just, as Fox will do, it's just theater.
Well, yeah, and also, here's the thing: it's not on the Venezuelans; it's on the powers that be. That's what they do to wedge folks, to divide black people and Latinos, and because if they wanted, whoever's controlling that, if they wanted to, they could address city services. They could have provided long ago opportunities for black people, but. So it's not on the people who are benefiting from it. It's from those who have implemented those and who have facilitated that.
Yeah, well,
right?
That's why they're at city council protesting against all the aldermen, saying that they don't feel like this is fair, that it's not right, and so it'll be interesting. There's a lot of Republican money coming into the area to foster discontent and dissent,
right,
and foment insurrection.
And that's their playbook. Always, it always is divisive. It's always pitting people against each other.
Exactly.
So you don't see who's pulling the strings. It's that 1% who's got everybody else fighting over nothing, over crumbs, right? Bob Dylan, only a pawn in their game. You ever heard that song? Yeah, that's the classic Republican playbook, or I should even say the classic playbook of the wealthy elite. Forget Republican.
There you go. There you go.
Right?
Because it's very subjective, right? Because like they talk about Trump being Republican. Trump is an opportunist.
Correct.
He doesn't care about your abortion. He doesn't care about your God. He doesn't care about any of that. What he cares about, how can I utilize what they care about to make money for me, to make opportunity for me.
I had a dream about Elon Musk last night.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And all I remember was I remember two things. I was trying to make him a nicer person, and his breath smelled like cigars.
Oh my God.
What's that all about?
What? That's real. You're such a sweetie pie, Dwayne. You trying to make Elon Musk a nicer person?
You know, he
who
and I
said
have
the
this-
weakness of America is your empathy. Isn't that sick?
Yeah,
That's a sociopath.
He is a sociopath.
He's like a supervillain, like in his own
He
cartoon.
my girl. Trump's a supervillain. He's a supervillain. But here's the thing: we got all the supervillains. Where's Batman?
Hey,
You know what I mean? Where's the Black Panther? You know?
That's a great segue to the Democrats. Where are you? Where are you?
I don't
Where are you? What are
AOC.
you doing?
What about AOC?
You know,
I love AOC.
she could be
man.
president.
Well, maybe my girl, but Kamala should have been president.
I don't know about all that, but
Kamala was a. Come on. Why do people try to now they got these think pieces? Why was Kamala a bad candidate? She wasn't a bad candidate.
She was
This is
not.
a racist, sexist country.
yes, that's true.
And people didn't come out to vote, and they rigged it. Come on. Had nothing to do with Kamala. Now they want to blame her like they do.
I think that
They wanna blame
what
black
she
folks.
accomplished. What she accomplished in 3 months.
In 3
I mean,
months.
but that's classic. That's classic. Oh, it's all falling apart. Throw it to black folks to fix it.
yeah.
You know.
Help us, niggas.
If they would have brought in Obama with 3 months, do you think that he would have won?
No.
No, because this is the thing. I still contend that it was rigged. This is the thing. When Trump said, this is to me the indication, you know how he says out loud the stuff that's going on or that's in his stupid, crazy psychopath head. Remember when he was campaigning and he was telling some of the people, don't even worry about voting. We got all the votes we need. Who says that? Why would you say that? Because you've enlisted all these tech bros, right? Elon, Peter Thiel, another racist South African piece of shit. All these, whoever, maybe Zuckerberg, I don't know about him, but all of these tech people, it's possible to rig an election, to rig those machines. They know how to, if anybody knows how to do it, they know how to do it. He was telling people, you don't have to worry about voting. We got all the votes we need, right? That was one thing. It was 3 things. I can't remember the second. But then when they started early voting, you remember this? When they started early voting, somebody asked Trump, so do you think the election is fair, is being run fairly? Oh yeah, it's fair. He never says anything's fair unless it's going to work out in his favor. Never, ever. Why would he say that? Man, they rigged that. They rigged it. And why isn't it? Because somebody was saying this on MSNBC. Democrats, whomever, independents, people who are not psychopath Republican criminals, they got to fight and employ some of these same tactics. They got to be relentless.
I
right?
thought it and you said it. One of the things, was it Hakeem Jeffries? Is that his name?
Yeah.
He stands up there and he's like, and now look at us with a peaceful transition of power. I'm like, a peaceful transition to chaos? For the last 4
Boom.
years, you've been telling us it'll be the end of the world. Everything will stop. Democracy is in crisis. And then he wins. And you guys are standing there like, oh, well, he won. I'm like, are you crazy?
See you in Ghana.
What?
Oh, well.
But I mean, this is my point.
You're right.
It's like,
You're right.
as we talk about these
Right.
poor, misled black
Right.
Republicans,
Right.
I think we should close the
Right.
show by talking about these poor,
Right.
useless Democrats.
Right.
And what are we to do?
Right.
Where are we to go? Where are our advocates? Where are our advocates?
Like you saying, right. Is it urgent or is it not urgent?
Is it urgent or is it not?
Because it was urgent before she lost. Now it's not.
Now
No,
it's
it's
not.
more urgent than ever.
It's more
He's
urgent
putting
than
in
ever.
all of those policies that he said he would with Project 2025 that he claimed he didn't know anything about. And now all of those policies are being enacted.
Every single one.
Yeah.
They're not calling for rallies. They're not calling for protests. They're not calling for anything. They're just on television
Yeah.
talking about, we've got to stay together and we've got to support what?
Right. Right. Support the end of the world.
It's ridiculous.
It
I
is.
mean, the Democratic Party is in crisis.
But-
they are in crisis, and it's like they don't even know that they're in crisis.
But it might have to, but okay. But let's say, forget the Democratic Party. It's just got to be whomever it is, a group of people that oppose oligarchy and billionaire criminals who are running whatever they call themselves.
Then we got to go
whomever
back to
they
Bernie
are.
and the 99%.
Ber-
Bernie had it years ago.
Bernie is just now, he's on tour with AOC. They were in Arizona
I'm
yesterday.
telling you, man.
Arizona, they did a
That's
speech.
that's the answer.
They did a speech yesterday in Arizona. They drew 34,000 people.
But I have a question.
Uh-huh.
How can they see the 99% was about us versus them? Well, now
Who was the us?
us is the 99% who aren't rich, right?
Oh, got you.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
The 99% movement was about us versus them.
Uh-huh.
Well, now the Republicans have divided us, right?
Uh-huh.
Now we are divided. Clearly, black and white are divided. So AOC and Bernie have this, enormous job of how do you bring us back together
Right.
in order for us to come together against the oligarchy.
Because blacks, right, are
Because now we like you on your own.
That's what it is. I don't know if it's so much a division. Yeah, black folk are exhausted.
If you're calling me the N-word in the grocery store, there's a division.
Who's calling you that?
Oh, no, not me. See, I'd be on TV. Nobody said me. I'm talking about this is happening on a daily basis.
Oh,
People
right.
are like,
But I'm saying, but you
it's
said
Jim Crow out here in these New York streets, in these Chicago streets. This isn't a Southern thing. This is a daily thing that people are experiencing everywhere.
Well, again, that's the climate that Trump has given people permission to lose their inner racist. A lot of stuff that they were holding on to is like, whoa,
Well, see,
I've
that's
been
the
trying not to
thing.
call somebody a woo.
But they've wanted this for a long time.
Yeah.
It's coming out of the wives of men, women, children.
Yeah.
It's rampant.
Yeah.
And how this is what AOC
Okay, so here's
and
the
Bernie are
question.
up against. How do you reunify?
Here's the question, Tammy. Then here's the question: do you think white people, not all, there are some good whites. I want to get a wall of like a great wall. You know how they have the Great Wall? I want to have the wall of great whites, and we're gonna have a list because you know how many good whites. I know 7. And then you put your list. We have a wall of great whites, so they'll know we're not talking about them.
Yeah.
We're just talking about most of them. You know what I mean?
talking about the
So here's my
system.
question: are white people equipped to live in civil society? Because they don't seem like they can get along with anybody. Get along, honor people, share with people, respect people, live without having that impulse to hold dominion over people. They don't seem like they can do that. They got to run everything. They got to tell everybody what to do. They got to hoard everything.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's a really that is a TED Talk on allyship, right? So
Yeah.
these are the characteristics that would embody an ally. I think to some extent,
And there's some
sat
righteous
in,
whites.
because you sat in it for so long, you sat in the power space for so long,
Right.
enacting all the things that you just listed
Mm-hmm.
in a way feels like giving something up. And I think that's that pull, that's the tug that's like, well, how does this help me? And the premise of being a better person is like, yeah, that's all well and good, but how does this help me?
Yeah.
Right?
Because then it comes back to human
Because
nature.
if you're raised that way,
Right.
I as I said, both of us are very blessed that the
Yeah.
white people that are in our lives, we
I know
feel a
some
sense
cool
of
white
we
folks.
feel a sense of kinship and family.
Yes.
And also, we have discernment of
yeah.
who and whom not to welcome into our circle,
Right.
and who to just be,
But here's the thing.
let me just observe you from afar.
Right.
Or like my grandmama would say, I'm gonna feed you with a long handle spoon.
Boom. Yeah. Because the thing is, when you know all the good white folks by name, you know what I mean? That's not cool.
Wait, are you on one hand? You can count it on two hands.
Yeah. But
I could throw in some toes. I could throw in a couple.
Yeah. I mean, as we all do, everybody in this room. You know, what I mean, like I said, there's some white folks I'm very fond of and very cool with, but It's the aggregate, and that's the thing. And like you saying, what are you doing not only to show that you are concerned, but actively countering that thing. Actively, they always say dismantling white supremacy, whatever that means and however that's done. But as it stands now, white folks just don't. It seems to me they've demonstrated this for millennia that they cannot share, they cannot be equitable. When you got to make it a law that you have to include people, it shows you what your impulse is. Do you know?
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, nobody has to make it a law for you to say, Tammy, every time you see Dwayne, you can't slap the shit out of him. They had to make it a law.
I need that law.
They probably do make that. I probably was a bad example.
Bad example.
Yeah, that would be a good law. But you know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. But
And hence the boycott. Hence the boycott, because it's like, why did it take George Floyd being murdered for you to have an epiphany to say, you know what? At the very least, we need to include some black people. We need to hire some black
include some black hair care products in Target.
Thank you.
And I think and I still find that it's a strange segue. I don't think that it was like, I feel like I've had this epiphany that black people have been treated poorly. I think the epiphany was like, I don't want them to set our store on fire. Let's get some black stuff in here. So, because it's just that as easy as you put it in as
Absolutely.
you take it out,
As they did.
As they did. And so it's just not a real thing.
It's not a real thing. But the other side of it is that you want black folks to be everywhere. Just like we were talking about with Republicans, black Republicans. I think that, again, I don't know whatever people's motives are, and that goes Republican, Democrat, Independent, just people. People usually are motivated by their own self-interest, whomever they are. But I think that some black Republicans, and I don't know what the numbers are, and I don't know necessarily all who they are.
What's the numbers, crack team?
But I'm saying that some of them are legitimate, genuine, conservative. They abide by the principles of whatever the Republican Party's principles are.
But that's just you're just regurgitating the talking points that they've said, right? Because it's conservatism.
What is conservatism?
But
what is that?
But it's not.
I'm asking.
Fiscal responsibility, but at whose risk, right? So we should be fiscally responsible. Okay, how do you think you should be fiscally responsible? Well, we just won't pay for kids to have, we won't pay for the poor. We're not going to tax the rich, just regular tax, not an extra tax. If the rich just pay just the normal stuff that they're supposed to, rather than seeking loopholes, we could end food brain.
Inequality, food deserts.
Food deserts. The inability to feed. We could feed everybody in our country,
Hold
right?
that thought.
So it's not that they are. It's not that their way is good or bad. It's that their way is based on the backs of the poor and the middle class.
So do you say, or do you think so? Being a Republican in and of itself, you are aiding in the oppression of poor and marginalized people?
Poor, marginalized, and the middle class.
Yeah.
Yes, so anybody that makes, what is the middle class now? $100,000, $150,000.
That's middle.
So, yes, a woman that makes $30,000 a year pays more in taxes than what's his name?
Jeff
God.
Bezos.
Yes.
Yeah. Elon Musk.
Yes. She
Donald
pays
Trump.
more in taxes. You're gonna take away her little money, and because she does not have the capacity, she doesn't have a business, she doesn't have any stocks. That's the way it's set up for things to get written off.
So let me ask you this then. So why do you think some black people become Republican?
They become Republican because they curry that power structure. It's I fit in. I am respected, so I think. But it's still nonsense. Because when you walk out of that room, they call you dirty names. They won't marry your kids. I mean,
Not that you necessarily want to marry them.
of course they want to marry them. Are you crazy? That's the whole point. They think if I take it on the nose now, it'll be better for my children. And it's just not true.
Yeah.
They don't want you. They don't care about you. They placate you. They and it's sad because
Yeah.
again, you don't have nowhere to be.
Who was
you
that?
You don't have nowhere to be but in your mansion. That's it.
Have you seen that and, it's online about all, it was like, I'm sure it was more than that, but it was like 6 black Republicans that all supported Donald Trump, who none of them got any positions.
I said that. Yes.
You said that to me,
yes,
right?
yes. All of them kissed his butt.
Yeah.
Went on the stump for him. He's like, "Where's my African American?" And he trots his ass out, and they don't have anything to show for it. But
Right.
their low self-esteem, and it's just they've been cockled by a carnival barker, and
He sure is.
it just is what it is.
A carnival barker.
A fraud.
A fraud. I call him a nightclub hypnotist. That's what that cat is.
I would never do that. Have you ever done that?
What?
Being hypnotized.
Hey, yo, no. Hey, you. No. Yeah, no, I've been hypnotized by this whole goddamn I pledge allegiance. Yeah, we all been hypnotized. This is the greatest country on it. We've been hypnotized. We hypnotized. Yeah, I misspoke. Yeah. But no, like get on stage. No, hell no. You know what I mean?
That would be scary. I would not want to do anything that messes with my brain.
I know that's right. Come off stage.
By a stranger, by
Yeah.
some guy that just walked in off the
Right.
street.
I come off stage, my girlfriend is gone. What happened? Oh, you was up there rattling off a lot of names.
Who's Sheila?
Yeah, right. Who's Connie? Right. Right.
Ooh, Connie. That's a cute name.
I kind of like that. What's that? Is that short for anything?
No, I don't think so.
Condolph?
Ladies and gentlemen, we
Like
wanna
Randy short for Randolph.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Napsolute Truth. We have such a good time talking with you, talking at you.
Yeah.
And please
Talking
share with
about
us,
you.
talking about you.
Yeah.
Share what you think about what we're talking about. Maybe you're a black Republican. If you're a black Republican and you think, man, they got it all wrong, well, you could just let us know. We might even talk about it on the show. My name's Tammy X.
Dwayne Kennedy. And don't forget to smash that like and subscribe. Subscribe and like the people who subscribe, whatever. And you can see us on all the platforms, right?
All the platforms. Apple,
yeah, and
Spotify,
yeah, and
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And what's the rest of them?
You can follow. You can hit the link.
Hit the link.
Hit the
yeah.
link.
Hit that link,
Yeah,
you
don't
guys.
ask me about the link.
I'm not digitally savvy at all.
You know what I mean?
If I could forward an email, it's a good day.
I tried to hit the link and my computer blew up. So, but hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we will talk to you next time.